Welcome back to ATTV Tea Time. My name's Alana and I am joined by a very special guest who is a triple threat in my opinion.
Oh.
Presenter, actor, director. He just did all the lighting and the setup in this room as well. So you can add that to his roster. It is Islah.
Hey, triple threat. The only thing I can't do is dance and whistle and swim
I reckon I can't swim either.
and click my fingers.
You can't click your fingers?
Yeah, I can't. We had this whole thing at the event, the turn-up event.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I remember you
That's
saying.
where we met.
Actually,
That's the whole time. I told everyone I couldn't click, I couldn't whistle, and I couldn't swim, and everyone the whole conversation was just about that.
I'm pretty sure I did see him dance at Turn Up though, so I'm sure he can dance.
No, I could just about bop my head to a beat.
That's what you need, rhythm.
Yeah, that's dance. Just my head bop.
Anyway, welcome. Been trying to get you on for a while.
No, it's been a while, man.
Been a while.
Finally made it work.
I know, finally made it work. So obviously, like I did in your introduction, presenter, actor, director.
Mm-hmm.
What came first? How on earth did you end up in the position that you're in right now?
You know what's mad? What came first for me was actually music.
Oh.
Yeah, I was an R&B singer.
I was not expecting that.
I was an R&B singer before I was a filmmaker, like by trade. I always did it. I was always filming and stuff and editing and whatnot, but that's how I started off. I started off as an artist. I made a whole mixtape. I got into BBC introducing.
Oh, wow.
And I had like loads of music coming out, songwriting. And then at the same time, I was filming other people's music videos, like on the block and like rap videos and all that.
Yeah.
Then I moved on to filmmaking properly, and then I made a series called Mandem on the Wall. And then while I was doing that, I was doing music at the same time. And then it kind of just, the filmmaking side of me just pushed more, started advancing more. So then I just put the music behind, and that was it.
Okay. So was there any musical people in the household that inspired that?
No,
Growing up?
no, no one in my family had a music. Well, my granddad had a really good voice, and my dad has a really good voice, and my dad still sings now. So he does it for a passion, he's got his own little band and everything. He's quite sick. And I guess that's where I got it from, I guess. But I just had a love for music. It's like when I grew up, I was just always around R&B. Like Joe was my first album, Craig David. And then when you're surrounded by it and you listen to it all the time, you just start singing. But it was always like a secret. I kept it as a secret. Didn't really tell my parents or my family or anything. I just did it. And then back then, YouTube and social media wasn't as big as it is now. So then, because when you come from an Asian family, there's so many things they can disapprove of. So I just kept it a secret. But it was just, I think at that time, at that young age, you just kind of explore all your talents and see what kind of works and see what doesn't.
So, what age did you do Mandem on the Wall? What age was this that we're talking about right now?
I was 19 when I was looking out my window in South London, in Brockley, and I saw a bunch of Mandem chilling on a wall. And it was they were there every day without fail. And then I was looking out the window and I said to my friend Aminu, and I said to him, bro, I really want to make a series about a bunch of like these Mandem on the wall. And then I went to an event, and there performing was Javan Wade, Percival Ascot, and D Cartier. And I ran up to them after. I was filming the event, so I ran up to them after and I said, guys, give me your numbers. I got an idea about a bunch of Mandem on the wall. And that's literally how it started. Then we met up, we improv'd, and then the group got bigger, and then we just started filming. And then it took us about 3 turns, like 3 takes to do the pilot right, 3 times, and then we started rocking from there, man.
And it was a YouTube series, isn't it?
It was a YouTube series, and it was at the era where Twitter was just popping, YouTube was the main platform, and Instagram wasn't even around. Instagram came in like halfway through, and it wasn't what Instagram is now today. It was just literally like just pictures and holiday pictures or whatever. So it was at a time where YouTube was the core platform where everyone would go to for content. So Mandem and All was just popping. And then 2 years later, it carried on. I left the project. The boys carried on, and which is known now today as the Wall of Comedy, Wall of Productions. We're still in touch.
Oh, wow.
They're still doing their thing. Then I moved on to add acting on top of my resume. So I started writing and producing and directing Corner Shop. So Corner Shop was a series, and then that was more targeted at the South Asian community.
So for those that don't know, Corner Shop is about a a dad that leaves his son in charge of a
Yeah.
shop, and the series is a YouTube series, and it basically is all about the strange customers that come in and
Yeah.
competition with other shops.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah, basically, because I mean, everyone has a corner shop.
Yeah.
No matter what part of the world you live in, whether it's London or New York, you've got a corner shop, right? And then a corner shop in Britain is like every store that everyone has in common. Do you know what I mean? No matter what corner of London or in the UK you always have a corner shop. And no matter what walk of life you come from, everyone goes to a corner shop. Whether you're, male, female, you're walking in and out, grabbing your milk, your bread, your chocolate, whatever, and then you say hi to boss man and you walk out. So I was like, that is the perfect location to make a series. So then I wrote myself as the lead, and then I learned so much making a series. Like Mandem and the Wall was made on no budget, but this obviously was started from scratch, and I learned so much more from my experience on Mandem and the Wall, and then moving on to Corner Shop, and I learned even more doing Corner Shop. And then as the series grew, it got more popular online. It had a massive, and it still does, a massive young audience. And meeting people as I was networking and getting them to be on the series. Like by the end of it, it lasted for 7 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it lasted for 7 years. And the last episode, we made it into a feature film, which took us 2 years to make eventually. But I went all out. I said, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. I had plans for the film that I had 4 years ago in my head, and I made it happen. And literally, if you watch it, it looks like we had a budget, but we didn't. Do you know what I mean? We had just money in our pocket, and then we just pulled it off. And then I said to myself, I want a red carpet premiere in the cinema. I don't care how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And then literally got it into Cineworld in the O2.
Oh wow.
And then lockdown happened.
Okay.
And then obviously Cineworld was going up and down during lockdown. So that was kind of the downhill of the film. But, it premiered there, and that was the height of the premiere. And that was the end of the series as well. And so many young people remember it. And then years later, even now, I meet young people that are 19 or 20, and they're like, bro, I grew up with Corner Shop.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man, I grew up with Fresh Prince and Keenan and Kel.
Yeah.
And you're telling me you grew up with Corner Shop, and you know what I mean? And it's crazy to think I made something that's part of people's childhoods.
And how does that feel as well? Because you did mention about being representative of the South Asian community. How important is that for you when you made Corner Shop?
It's important because when I grew up, there was no one that looked like me on screen. There was no British Bangladeshis at all. The only one was Connie Hawk, and she was on Blue Peter. But that's the only person I could identify to. There was no actor, there was no artist, there was no one. You turn the TV on, you didn't feel represented. And you, as a child, you don't know what representation is, because if you don't see it, you don't learn it, right? So then what starts happening when you do get intrigued about the creative industry, you start thinking, oh, I want to do that. That would be nice if I did that. But then you don't feel motivated or inspired because there's no one like you. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's not having that growing up now means that with what I've built, I'm not saying I've built an empire, but with what I've built, I need to then, create that for the young people out there that are like me, that the way I was back in the day, because I don't want them to feel like that. Do you know what I mean? So there's so many layers to representation and what it means for people, but the main thing is to turn on your TV or turn on your YouTube or whatever and just feel seen, feel heard. Do you know what I mean? So
that's amazing. So with so Corner Shop, did you direct that as well as act in it?
I wrote it, directed it, produced it, starred in it, edited it, color graded it.
Oh wow. So
mixed it.
All these skills, not just triple threat. Clearly, you've got dozens.
I still can't click and swim.
Did you go to university? What was the steps for you to learn these?
How it started, I failed my GCSEs.
Okay.
So my GCSE results spelt fudge, and then I discovered media as a BTEC. So I was like, what's media, man? What's media? It was either media or, social health care or something like that. And I was like, well, I don't want to train to be a midwife, so let me do this. So then I did BTEC, media, and I loved it. So it came to me by accident. But then I loved it so much, and I was filming and whatnot. But even then, I had a knack for filming on my phone. I had an old, Sagem phone. Like, I don't even think that brand exists anymore.
Oh wow, I actually do.
Old school phone, yeah. And I used to film my cousins playing football, and they used to do tricks, and I used to pause it, and then I used to put it together, and I used to go on like Windows Movie Maker and like make all these edits and stuff. So I always had a knack for it as a kid, but I never pursued it. And then studied it in sixth form, continued it in college, and then I failed my A levels. I just got a knack for failing. Failed my A levels, but I always passed media. So then I did a foundation course in art, and that's when my perspective on film changed, because my art teacher was like, I said, I've never painted a picture, I can't do an art degree. He's like, don't paint a picture, make a film. I was like, but a film's not art. He goes, yes it is. Film isn't art. And he taught me about cinematography and how lighting works and how different shades of colours and shadows, and he started showing me all these film noir movies, and I was understanding film as an art. And then I took that on, went to uni, studied media and TV, and then it was while I was in uni that I did Mandem on the Wall. So I was already geared up, and I was like, look, I can't just rely on my studies, got to go all out and do it myself. So
And that is such a key thing that I always say to people, especially even in the TV industry.
yeah.
When you're at uni, make sure that you're doing so much more outside of uni to actually elevate yourself. Because once you leave uni, you've got your degree, you've got your paper,
Yeah.
you've got the skills, but you don't have any
Bruv,
contacts.
it's been what? I left uni in 2013. Ain't no one asked for my degree for proof.
Not one.
Nothing. I've not needed it. I'm in debt for no reason, bruv. I could have
Yeah.
just not gone and just made Mandem on the Wall and just like carried on. But
Yeah,
it is
of
what it is,
course.
man.
So with the YouTube series, obviously you kind of like peaked in YouTube at its prime time.
Yeah.
What did that feel like when you realised that Mandem on the Wall started to gain traction and then Corner Shop gained traction?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what did that feel like, and what does that traction look like?
It's a funny thing, innit? Because now, I mean, it's like when people get a lot of followers, or they get a blue tick, or you get, loads of interaction on a video. The hype that it can generate can really make you go, wow. And it can make you feel famous, like, oh my God. But for me, it was like keeping my ego in check. Because I never, even now, I always tell myself in the mirror, or in my thoughts, I don't do things for popularity. I try and always do things for purpose. It's the two P's.
The two P's.
The two P's. You either do it for popularity or you do it for purpose. For me, I don't do it for popularity, right? I do it for purpose. If the purpose is pure, if the purpose is clean, if the purpose is to help people, if the purpose is to start a movement or do something positive, then naturally your purpose is gonna be popular. Do you get it? People will hear what you want to say, and that's not me. That's proven in history. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Malcolm X didn't come out and say, "Yo, I want to be famous." Malcolm X had a purpose. Now you know who Malcolm X is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like when my YouTube views were going up, and the press and this and getting pictures from people on the street and stuff like that. For me, it was like my purpose is what's shining, and that's what people are drawn to. So for me, it's not even like you're a fan of Islah. It's like you're a fan of Corner Shop. You're a fan of something I created that's bigger than me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I used to get stopped on the street by parents, and the parents would say like, oh, one woman I remember, I was holding a parking space for my dad, and I asked this woman in the car, can you not park it because my dad's just about to come in? And she goes, oh my God, you're that guy from Corner Shop. I'm like, hi. She goes, my son's homeschooled and I don't let him watch anything other than your show. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. But can my dad still park it? Like, it was mad. Like, I used to get stopped like that, and it's like, and I still do. I still get parents saying, oh, my kids grew up with this, and I get young people telling me I grew up with it, and it's like, it's fulfilling as a filmmaker, because when you're making a film on no budget, you go through so much like issues and struggles and like late nights where thinking, why am I doing this? I'm not even getting paid, or should I carry on, or should I just get a part-time job? You go through all these self-doubts and stuff, and then when it finally comes out and people would sit and they appreciate your work, people used to plan their days around the Corner Shop episode release. Even though it's on YouTube and you can watch it anytime, I'd promote it and say, right, it's out at 7 p.m. on a Saturday. People would book days off work. People would call their families, get bare snacks, and then they start sending videos to me. Back then it was like obviously just YouTube and Twitter and a bit of Instagram, so people would just kind of upload it on their post and tag me, 15-second videos, and people used to get popcorn, snacks, and call their cousins, and everyone was like get into the beds at night, and like it was like a sleepover, and people would just get happy
That is
just
so
to watch, like premiere it on YouTube. And I'm like, bro, you can watch it anytime. And two scenarios that I remember, and there's so many of them, but two that stood out to me was one young girl messaged me, or was it anymore? One young girl messaged me and said, thank you so much for Corner Shop. because my dad started watching it, and she sent me a video, and it was her and her siblings, and the dad was watching it from the doorway, and he was just wondering what it is. Then he slowly started sitting down, and he sat next to them, and they watched the whole episode. And then she finished the message with, "My dad never spends time with us. He never watches anything with us. He's always working. This is the first time he sat down in years to sit with us as a family, and he watched Corner Shop with us." So then she said, "Thank you." And I was like,
Oh my goodness.
you don't
That makes
buy
me feel
that.
choked in my throat.
You know what I mean? You don't buy that. And that's when
Yeah.
it was moments like that when I realized that this is bigger than me. This purpose is greater than I am. And then I was, after a Corner Shop and everything finished, I started going into teaching in schools and youth clubs, and I started doing like media courses for young people. And then I did a course at Swanley School in Whitechapel, and I was teaching a bunch of year 9s, and then went on to be year 10s. And then one of the girls came up to me and she said, "Thank you so much for Corner Shop, because you got me through my parents' divorce."
Wow.
And I was just like, God, you can make me cry, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you call purpose.
Yeah. You
I'm
just
saying.
went in with like no
Yeah.
No
yeah.
ulterior motive.
No,
other than
you
to
don't.
just
You just
something.
create, and you just, like I said, as long as your purpose is clear, then it's all good. And plus, when you think about like, how did it feel when you got popular on YouTube and blah blah blah. Even as a filmmaker, obviously, if I've gone through all that time and effort to make a film, and maybe I've put it in cinema and nobody turns up, then obviously that's gonna hurt me, right? So if the seats get filled, then obviously as a filmmaker you're gonna feel fulfilled. So for me, I just see it as appreciated that my hard work doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's almost like kind of validating, like, I am good at this. You know, like you said about your failure and your fudge FUGs, like FUG, group
fudge
GCSEs.
GCSEs.
Fudge GCSEs. Like, that is kind of that thing of like, okay, I just wasn't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I think when it comes to exams and certain subjects. It's like, well, that's just not who you are. That's why you failed.
It's true. It's like failure is just a different path to success. It just changes your road to be like, no, don't go that way, go this way. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a reason I failed at everything but media, and that's where I am today. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm not saying I got like a house in Bel Air, bruv. Like, I wish.
But you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well. So obviously, in terms of you filmmaking, you're producing, you're writing, acting. Like, we had a little chat downstairs about something that you're making recently. But like, what day was it when you were like, do you know what? I'm gonna act in this as well. Because obviously,
You know
music
what?
as well.
The day that I knew I could act, yeah, I got in a madness in South London with my boys, and the police came in it. So then obviously the police were asking me, like, did you see something? Did you see anything? I was like, no, I didn't see nothing. And that's the day I knew I could act. That is the day I knew I could act, because the police believed my lie. I was like, yo, I think I can do this, you know? Literally. And then, I mean, when I decided to act properly, it was Corner Shop. Corner Shop was my acting gym, because I was just practicing loads of ways and accents and impressions and, you know, scenarios and emotional scenes and angry scenes and funny scenes. And then that's what built me as an actor. And then after that, got myself an agent, and then I started, you know, doing acting job after acting job. And then, yeah, man, it just, that's when the acting route went. But with acting, it's always up and down, because jobs come and go.
Yeah.
And then, especially when you got the colour of my skin, acting jobs don't come often. So when you do, all the Asian people are going for the same role. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a massive room with all of us, and you know, there's not many opportunities for us. So in what I do, instead of like troubling myself with those kind of thoughts, is just make my own stuff.
Make your own.
Make my
Your own
stuff.
lane.
Yeah, make my own lane. Just I write my stuff, direct my own stuff, and I just cast myself in it, or you know, and just play the role.
So how important is it to have an agent? Those that listen might want to go into acting. Like, how vital would you say having an agent is?
Agents are really important, because they are the middleman in the industry. So Hollywood or even British films, they go to agents and say, who have you got? And then they're the ones that tell them, oh, I've got this person, that actor, and they vouch for you. So it is important, because big productions, they don't have time to go on social media and like search you out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every company goes to an agency, and the agency handles their business. Every company goes to a PR agency and goes to them to handle their advertising. Do you know what I mean? It's just how the industry works.
Yeah.
However, to get an agent isn't hard. It's not hard. If you do your research, literally Google is your best friend. Top 10 agents in London, boom, they will give you top 10. And then you just find the websites. And some people actually write articles and blogs to help you. And you follow the blogs and you say, right, this is the name of this agent, here's their contact details, or go on their website, scroll down to contact us, and then just write an email. Then you just have to write an email, be honest about it, make sure you got a headshot, a show reel, keep your email nice and brief, because you have to imagine these people get emails on a Monday morning, like 300. You're going to be at the like bottom of the list. You've got to make it very clear and precise what you want.
Yeah.
And they're not going to disrespect that. They're not going to be like, oh, this person's rude. They're just be like, all right, cool, get to the point. What do you want?
Yeah.
And then after that, once you've got their interest, that's it, you're in.
Okay. And then, so obviously when you make films and you get actors in, what process do you have?
Yeah. So, I mean, knowing how it feels for me as an actor to walk into an audition and how like tense it is and terrifying and like you get anxiety and stuff, I make sure when I cast actors, I give them the opposite experience. Yeah. So I just finished a film called If Only, which is funded by the Council in Tower Hamlets, and we worked with a charity called Streets of Growth, and they work with vulnerable young people, getting them off the streets, and we basically work with them to get those kids into the arts. So they got to be involved in the film, on set, behind the scenes, opportunities that they probably wouldn't have got in school or college, or never have imagined that they'd be a part of. And we were able to work with young people and create a film based on their stories and their true stories. So we were able to create a film again with a purpose, something that is not dramatized, it's not fiction.
No.
You know, it's not like an action movie, it's not Mission Impossible. It's literally gritty, grounded, realistic, and true. And you know, doing stuff like that. Wait, what was the question?
It's just about how you get actors, but I'm absolutely loving hearing this.
So getting actors for that.
Yeah.
So I put the the casting out, and I put the casting out onto social media on Star Now. And then it got so popular that Spotlight actually got in touch with me.
Oh, wow.
And they said, oh, would you like to do a free casting? And then after that, we'll sign you up and you can do paid ones and stuff. And I said, thank you, but right now I'm good, because everyone who applied to be on the film doesn't have a Spotlight account. They don't have a show reel, but they're talented, and I want to give them opportunities.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean? So literally, like, one of my lead actress in the film was her first short film, and I gave her a chance. To one of the young boys, he sent his self-tape in, and it was just him on a portrait mode, and he was like, yo, my name's Darren, just want to show you what I got. Boom. And he's read the lines. I was like, I like this kid. Brought him in for an audition, and I made sure when they came to the audition that they were comfortable, they didn't feel nervous. I went over there as a director to speak to all of them, even the ones that didn't get the role. I was like, look, you're all here, do your best, you know, don't be scared. We're all here to just, you know, learn. If you guys are feeling nervous or you feel uncomfortable, let me know. Let's work around it. And I just made them feel like welcome, so that they can feel like they came, did their best, gave it the all, and left it there. Do you know what I mean? But
so you talk about a lot about, you know, obviously representing communities, but also helping kind of young people choose the right path, and you know, so they don't go into these difficult places. Yeah. Where has that come from for you want to do that? Like, is it where you grew up that inspired that, or do you just feel like that's the responsibility that you want to have to try and get more people?
Again, I think it just came naturally, man. Like, I think growing up, I never had the opportunities given to me or presented to me. Do you know what I mean? Growing up, my family never really supported what I did. Do you know what I mean? Even now, it's like here and there. So I never got the support. I never got the infrastructure or the advice, or like, oh yeah, do it like this and you'll do it. But I winged it all my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I winged it, and then knowing how that felt for me as a young person, I don't want more young people to feel like that. I don't want that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like again, these opportunities just, they come to me, and then I can't deny it. I can't turn it away, because I'm like, I can't not take this opportunity to not, first, to do what I love, and secondly, to, you know, help another kid out there that is like a younger version of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does feel like a responsibility, and it feels like I'm helping my inner child.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm helping my past self, because it's like, you know, I didn't get that, but it shouldn't make me bitter. It should make me want to be better and help another young person.
Open those gates for those.
Yeah, man. Because you never know where they could lead, and to know that you were a part of their journey, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I love that. So presenting, and obviously BBC.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Did they spot you? Did you apply for it?
Presenting came accidentally again. Everything I've been doing is by accident. I just wing life.
Things, the accident, but they all fall into place because that is what is supposed to happen.
You know what? Presenting, I remember my first presenting job. I did an interview on a website with a band called Culture Shock, and
Yes.
I did an interview randomly in Westfield, and then I was like, oh, I'm actually alright. Do you know what I mean? And it was literally just based off of the fact that I can hold a conversation and I can just be comedic and just have a laugh and whatnot. And then it was just like the odd job here and there. Then it was like, oh, could you host this fashion event? Or could you host this comedy night? Could you host this? And then it was like hosting here and there. And then presenting was, again, it was just dipping up and down. And then with BBC, the manager got in touch with me when he got his promotion, and he said he's looking for new talent. He wants to, do a show and whatnot. So then I went in for a pilot, and then went in for another pilot, until the pilot was seamless. And he was like, right, you're ready. And then that's how I got the job. And that's when like presenting, I guess, took a professional turn.
Yeah.
Because once you got BBC behind your name, it's like, yeah, you're professional, you're getting paid for it. And then, yeah, I mean, radio presenting, again, it was different for me because presenting for me was always on camera.
Yeah.
And then finally being on radio, it was like being on camera but not on camera, because you got to sound like you're on camera but you're not. It's weird. So I got used to it in the end. I mean, I still want to train and do better, but yeah, that's how that came about. And then obviously off the back of Corner Shop, the series, I transitioned it into Corner Shop Network, the platform. So now I create content on there that champions ethnicity.
Yeah.
And then I just make entertaining content, and then off the back of that I get invited to do press at red carpet events for movies and premieres and events. And then obviously I can't be everywhere at once, so what I did was sign up new presenters,
Yes,
so
I've
that they
seen
get
that.
jobs. So now they go to red carpets, and I'm just watching them, talking to the celebs and whatnot. And then I hire new talent to do filming, and then they edit it, whatnot, and then it just goes out. So now it's like I've created opportunities for other presenters.
Yeah, because I was on Corner Shop's YouTube and I was like, hang on a minute, this is so much more than just a series. Like this is a network. This is like a
It became
like
a platform.
family.
Yeah, it became a platform.
Yeah.
It rocketed fast, and the transition was nice, because it was like, guys, okay, look, the Corner Shop series coming to an end. Everyone was all excited about it, but then I was like, look, it's not the end. They've got other stuff coming. So I slowly transitioned out, made different kind of videos, tested a few things out. Now everyone kind of knows, okay, Corner Shop is a network, it's a platform. Now we're like producing different kind of things, like a dating show. We've got so many things in the pipeline. It's a lot to do. But I mean, you do producing as well. Do you know how it is? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a lot to do, especially when you don't have the money for it. You've got to always look for a sponsor and look for a brand to support it.
Yeah.
But it's fulfilling, man, because again, you just create opportunities for everyone else. And like I said, Corner Shop Network now is bigger than me.
It is a network. That is what it is.
Yeah. And for Corner Shop Network, my inspiration was Jamal Edwards with SBTV. He created something that's long lasting, that's bigger than him. He was always the face of it. If you did your research, he was the start of it, but he was the one that created a platform for so many artists.
Yeah.
And when he passed away, how many people were like, thank you for creating this for us. Do you know what I mean? Ed Sheeran, Jessie J, like, that's what I took on board, and I got the honor to work with him once, and that's what I took on board. I was like, Corner Shop Network can be that for so many other people.
Yeah.
Presenters, actors, behind the scenes talent. Again, it's bigger than me. The purpose is always greater than you.
And it's like the legacy as well that he's left, like SBTV lives on. Like,
yeah, exactly.
do you know what I mean? So, yeah. What did you work with him on?
We were Mandem on the Wall.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We worked with Jamal Edwards and Mandem on the Wall. We had the same YouTube partnership. It was so funny. We was in a meeting, a little roundtable meeting, professional setting, like business people with suits and that. And here I was with like my South London self and like the boys, Javan and Percy and D. And then Jamal Edwards just walked in, and then we're chatting to him about what we were planning and stuff. And he had like 4 or 5 phones just buzzing off. And he's like, yo, I'm just in a meeting. And he's texting. Like, he's funny. He's a funny guy, man. He was cool. It's cool.
Oh, nice. So where do you see things going for you now in terms of like presenting, acting, directing, filmmaking, editing? Do you want to continue doing that? Do you want to go into one lane specifically?
Yeah, I definitely know what I want to pursue. I definitely want to pursue writing, directing, and acting. Those are the 3 things I definitely want to pursue. Presenting is like, if a job comes that's suitable for me, I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? And the filming side of things, like being behind the camera and editing the stuff, I do it if I have to, because like when push comes to shove and you're the only one who can do it, I'm able to do it. But pursuing those main 3 things, like filmmaking and acting, is what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? Because there's very few people that can
do all of that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not even me trying to blow my own trumpet. It's
no,
just there's very few people that can pull it off and do it all. And I'm always learning. Learning. But I think this film that I just done, If Only, is probably the biggest and best thing I've ever produced. And like watching it back and then showing a few people just to make sure I'm not in my own, you know, in my own bubble thinking, yeah, this is great. Other people were telling me, like the producers watched it, the crew watched it, and they all just gave feedback saying that they had goosebumps on their arms and like they were just like, you know what I mean? They were like, this is so good. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So when is that film out?
If Only is out in cinemas August the 5th in Genesis in Tower Hamlets. And then we're going to have multiple screenings around schools and youth clubs. Hopefully when schools are back in September, we're going to screen it in all the schools in the borough and then start moving out the borough.
Oh, lovely.
So it's just going to be screened everywhere, hopefully into film festivals. Before it even reaches online, we're going to screen it everywhere because, again, the purpose of the film is bigger than the actual film.
Yeah.
And then the documentary we're screening at the same time, and Streets of Growth at the base. So there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening.
So in terms of all these skills that you've acquired, like what would you suggest to somebody that is perhaps maybe at school or college or university? Like I remember being in college and being like, oh, I don't want to learn editing. That's not what I'm interested in. And then my teacher basically forced me and sat me down. And once I got into it, I was like, oh God, I love it.
Yeah.
And now I can edit my own podcast. So like, would you suggest that people just get as much?
Yeah, get as much experience as you can, man. Try everything you don't like doing. Because if anything, you'll learn what you do like doing and you'll actually like what you like doing more. Do you know what I mean? And it is very useful to have skills that you don't like doing because if, for example, like, I don't like editing. I mean, I enjoy it when I can edit something good, but it is draining. My back hurts. I'm on my desk a lot, right? But if I was on a project where I had an editor, and let's just say that editor came to me with an excuse, like, I can't edit this because of that reason, I know you're lying to me because, bruv, I've been there. Don't try it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, if you have experience everywhere, it's only going to help you. Do you know what I mean? So just dabble in everything. Dabble in it as much as you can.
As much as you can, get all that experience. So how can we find you? How can we find Corner Shop? If anyone wanted to get involved, how would they reach you?
Socials, man. Socials, email, at Corner Shop Network or at Mr. Islah. You know what's my thing? Everyone keeps thinking my name's Mr. Because it's just Mr. as an MR.
Yeah.
So I looked at my passport and it's like Mr. Islah. I was like, oh, that's a nice like stage name. So I thought, oh, let me be smart and change the spelling so it looks funky. And it's like MISTAH. ISLAH, so it looks the same. Now people are thinking, hey, Mister. I'm like, that's not my name.
Oh.
So now I can't change my display name because the blue tick's there, and it's like Instagram doesn't let you change your name. I'm like, so yeah, Mr. Islah.
Mr. Islah.
Mr. Islah, and obviously Corner Shop Network, and yeah, man, that's it, man. I'm me.
And how important is social media to the growth of your network?
I love and I hate social media.
Okay.
I love and I hate social media. Social media is great for work. It's great for publishing your work, getting your stuff out there, getting traffic and whatnot. But I hate the reality side of things. I don't like... I'm not like a Love Island reality TV star. I don't like when people like poach into your private life because before social media, we were all happy. Social media causes depression, causes anxiety, causes young people to, fall into situations they shouldn't be in. It's dangerous for even younger children. Do you know what I mean? Like, we live in a very dangerous world with, I hate to say it, with pedophiles and murderers and stuff. And social media is just giving them all the access, bro. There's so many layers to social media that I just don't like. But as a tool for marketing and business, it's great. So that's why it's important to use it for my business. But yeah, like...
For the right reasons.
For the right reasons. And there's no shade on anyone else who's like a blogger or a lifestyle blogger or like a mummy blogger or a daddy blogger or a family blogger. Like,
so many bloggers.
Like, there's no shade on them. It's just my personal opinion. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's actors out there that are famous that don't have social media.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what's her name from Titanic?
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet, yeah? She's not on social media.
No.
And she had an interview on, and then she was like, I want my children to look at the sky with their own two eyes, not take a picture of it. Or not take a picture of it and someone comment and tell them that it's shit. That shouldn't be an issue. Like, they need to grow up like a normal human being. And I respected it.
Yeah, she did a massive speech at the BAFTAs where I was. Just like,
come on.
And it was eye-opening that she was really advocating it. And it's funny because after that, there were so many like viral moments of what she'd said behind the scenes and even on stage that was like on TikTok, on Instagram, but she didn't even know about it. And sometimes I was thinking, does she even care? And how nice is it that she doesn't even care that she's going viral?
But this is what I'm saying.
That's
Purpose.
yeah.
And the popularity comes with it. And she doesn't even care because she is literally voicing her purpose. That's all she's doing. And when the purpose is that great, the popularity follows. Do you know what I mean? So it's similar to, I said this at the Turn Up event, right? My dad said to me, chase your dream, don't chase money. Because if you chase your dream, money will chase you. If you're always chasing money, you're always going to be sad, depressed, troubled. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be left alone. Do you know what I mean? And if you replace money with popularity, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I remember when I was growing up as well, my mum used to say to me, because I used to miss out on a lot of people's birthdays. I missed out on a few girls' holidays because I was always coming up to London from Norfolk. And she was like, chase the dream, the money will come. And then you'll go to every event, which is why I'm outside all the time.
Come on. Getting them steps in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you got any advice to people, younger people that are thinking about getting into this industry? Like, what could you...
I say, you know what? My advice to any young person who wants to get into the creative industry is that there's so many tools now online. There's so many courses. There's so many after-school clubs. There's so many, people like me that are giving back that, you can go to. There's so many, there's just so many opportunities. Do you know what I mean? And it's sign up to every event. Go to every event. Go to every panel talk. Jump on LinkedIn. Jump on Starna. Don't, look down on anything. Any small platform is an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? You just have to make yourself available everywhere. And you have to remember your talent is irreplaceable. Everyone is unique in their own way, and there's something about you that's special. The right person just needs to see it. But unfortunately, that right person that needs to see it is really busy. He's in his corporate office and he's got 100 emails and stuff. So you need to make yourself known and shine for him to be like, oh, what's that? Who's that over there making noise? And bro, people go viral all the time nowadays. Dancers, actors, TikTokers, they go viral and that's how they get popular. Well, that guy that got massive and all he does is this.
Oh yeah, when he goes up to things and goes.
Yeah, he just puts his hands up. He's massive.
Doesn't even say anything.
He doesn't say anything.
Goes to premieres.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff.
So it's like, bruv, use social media to your advantage. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's the accessibility that I never had growing up is there.
That's what I'm exactly.
You know what I mean, I'm there spending hours doing a whole film, and someone goes viral on a 10-second video about their dog. Do you know how that makes me feel?
And then they're representing Pampers, nappies.
Yeah, but I'm getting all these deals and that. It's like, no shade.
But no, okay, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming on, we're looking forward to the film very much. So it's going to be a big one, I think, just for the culture in general in that area, but also I think a lot of people from other areas in London and other areas of the country that are disadvantaged are going to take something from it. So we very much look forward.
I'm down. I'm excited myself. Thank you for having me, man.
Thanks for coming.
It's such a nice podcast. I feel like this was a therapy session.
Oh yeah, we can carry.